The stretch of our hero. The wake-up call of the hero. There he goes. That's my knee. Rubbing his eyes. Rubbing his eye. Ah! Good morning, Jaw. Jaw, are you happy to be on Days with Jordan the Lion? Are you happy to be on You are good. Good. I saw the tail wag. That's a good start of a day. These are what we used to call payphones. You don't see many of those anymore. That's a senior citizen center. Hollywood does kind of take care of its elderly. Just past this is the apartment slash motel that Julia Roberts played. She played Vivian in the movie. This is where she lived. Coming upon our first location for the Pretty Woman shoots. And of course we're gonna have to deal with construction right across the street, but that's all right. What is by far the most famous part of the movie and the most famous shot of the movie would have started right here. And this is the hotel that Vivian, played by Julia Roberts, lived in. You remember the beginning of the movie, she's walking through the apartment building and she's trying to leave, and the manager's looking for rent from somebody else, so she ends up coming down this fire escape. And you actually see she comes from the second floor and then comes down to the second and then pulls that ladder down, and she actually lands down here on this cement thing and walks out. That cement actually wouldn't have been there then, and there would have been a different fence here because she walks through a hole in the fence right here. This is also pretty well-known scene because this is also the end of the movie. When he decides he wants to marry her, he comes back and climbs up that fire escape and proposes marriage to her with the flowers. Definitely the same outside railing, fire escape, and everything. They've changed a little bit about it. They've changed the sign, but that's about it. Pretty funny movie. I mean, it's a Gary Marshall movie. Gary Marshall never really made any bad movies, but it is kind of funny that it's a movie basically Cinderella being a prostitute.
Welcome to Hollywood. What's your dream? Everybody comes here. This is Hollywood.
Here's one last shot of how the opening scene would have looked. Different hotel sign than what originally was there. They've replaced that, but my guess is they've kept this kind of looking the same because they get a lot of tour buses coming by here throughout the day. As we leave, our next location is right up here where this red light is. Now I recognize this spot immediately. This is where Kat and Vivian claim is their turf for prostituting. They would have been standing right here and they make that whole speech about Bob Hope and everything, but it actually would have been right here. The Zoltar machine wouldn't have been there, but you can tell that's definitely the same place. Right here on the corner. And there's a point right after she leaves her apartment that you see they're in what they call an alleyway where a prostitute was found, and that was actually inside here. You can match that up pretty easily. This is actually where they would have had this. You can even see that shoe shine stand. That's actually the alley she would have wandered into. When she discovered they were out of rent money. I decided to come across the street because I can show you everything a little bit better. Right here is where the girls would have worked. So I'm going to show you how they cheated all this. The girls would have worked and been prostituting right there. That's where you would have picked them up. Right next to, right here where this rock shop is, beside Stefano's, that's where the banana club was that they go into. That she goes into early on in the movie, and she looks for her roommate, and her roommate tells her that she bought drugs with the rest of the rent money. And then right next to it, that outpost building, that's the alleyway. That was where the alleyway for the death was that I showed you. So that's how connected all this really is. And she lived right up this street. I walked right down this street to get here. That would pretty much be the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie, right in that stretch right there. Either the characters of The Wizard of Oz were here, or somebody went and decided they didn't need their heart or their brain anymore and just threw it out on the side. Well, guys, if you need one, there's a heart and a brain pretty close to the Pretty Woman Hotel. Since we're in the neighborhood again, there's the other side of the Montecito that you guys couldn't see yesterday. That's the side that would be facing towards Hollywood Boulevard. I spy with my blue eyes more cranes. This house right here was the house in Pretty Woman that the homeless guy tells him Sylvester Stallone's house. When I say him, I assume you guys know I mean Richard Gere. I mean, I'm not talking about Jason Alexander. If you guys remember back on my episode about the Lido, where Carol Burnett's mom or grandmother lived, where the Eagles had the back cover of their album, the Lido used to have a pool. And this was where the pool area was. When Carol Burnett would have lived here, that she would have swam in that pool. Figured since I was walking by, I'd throw that in. If you're looking for one love, it's right there. Go that-a-way. Right into that apartment, I guess. We were trying to walk to the post office and he forced his way over here. He stopped walking.
Beef is okay?
Yeah. This is not what I thought going for a walk was gonna be, dude. This is not going for a walk. Ja. Is that what you consider going for a walk? Well, I'm out walking to go buy Jaws some dog treats. I brought him with me originally, and when we started walking in that direction, he kept stopping and like tugging on the leash like he didn't want to go. And when I let him redirect me, he took me to the pet store where they give him free treats and baby him and give him tons of attention. So I let him do all that, but then there's another store that I buy him regular treats, like day-to-day treats at. So I ditched him at home and I'm off. Now I'm going to have some lunch and pick him up some dog treats. It's been 3 days since he had dog treats in the house, so he's actually been pretty well behaved considering that. Just a pop-up palm reading station with nobody manning it. They're actually filming something over here too. You can see that's how they do it. That's how they follow a car on that rig. Popped in Trader Joe's, and the days of wine and roses, well, pumpkin ravioli, it's over. It's completely over. They've removed the sign in the aisle. They've spread out other stuff in its place. I'm tapping out. There you have it. He doesn't fly everywhere. Popped in Goodwill. I'm definitely not going to buy anything, but since it's Halloween, I always like to look because one year I actually found a Ken Griffey Jr. jersey, starter jersey from the early 90s. I bought it for $5. You never know what you'll find. Like I said, I don't need anything. I have plenty of Halloween costumes now for various things, but I just like to come in and look. That costume kind of looks like Big Earl Skakel. Huh. That's not something you see every day. Stadium entrance gate sign. I don't know where that would have been from. And right behind it is this gem. Well, it's original art, whatever it is. This is kind of funny. Look, somebody either was Jordan or had a #1 teacher named Jordan, and whoever it was decided this mug wasn't worth keeping, and it's here. They just made an announcement they're wheeling out a new rack of clothes and to not attack the cart until it came to a complete stop, which means they've had a problem before. I bought nothing, I told you. A couple of priorities in this place. Numero uno is right over here. The Playland. It's not really all that inconceivable that I could end up living in one of those at some point. Now look at the amenities here. Yoga terrace. I've never seen that listed on an apartment building, but I'm guessing that's what those are. I guess they consider those yoga terraces. In that blue trash barrel behind me, a homeless guy has every possession he owns in there. It's basically his clothing chest. People become inventive when they have to. You gotta hand it to them. Just stole somebody's recycling bin and wheeling it all over town with his wardrobe. Just because you're homeless doesn't mean you can't look good. And that's a cool looking archway. You know what's a funny thing that people in Los Angeles do, and I notice it all the time, is when they get a parking ticket of some sort and they stick it underneath your windshield wiper, they just leave it on there. You'll see people driving all over town with a parking ticket on their windshield. I don't know if that's like a, if I don't ever pick it up, it never existed kind of mentality or what that is, but you constantly see people driving around with those. Weirdos. Is that sign trying to say no blue-eyed kids? That's exactly what it looks like. Now tomorrow, I'm going to Michael's engagement bruncheon. So I can't go to something that I was kind of thinking of going to, but that doesn't mean if you're in the Los Angeles area, you shouldn't go. Over at the Laurel and Hardy steps, the Music Box steps, from noon to 4, they're having a celebration, an anniversary. Free food, free drinks, they're gonna show the movie, they're gonna have impersonators, they're gonna have all kinds of stuff. It's over on Vendome in Silver Lake, and they said it's pretty much gonna be at the park. I guess there's a park there, I didn't see it, it's probably right across the street. I tend to not see the obvious stuff, and I see the little stuff. So if you're in Los Angeles, and it's Saturday, when you're watching this, which it should be, or else you're behind, you're slipping. If it's Saturday, then you want to go to the Laurel and Hardy celebration. You got nothing else to do and you want to have some fun.